I'm Vanessa Ruck, the girl on a bike. Welcome back to the Bowler Customer Experience Programme. I am here for part 2. So part 1 was getting to know the Defender 110. Part 2 is getting into the Bowler rally car. So we're here at Walters Arena in South Wales, and this is the Bowler paddock. So the first part of this exercise is getting you ready to get into your rally car and compete in your first round of the UK series. This is a training program, so you can come into this as a complete novice newbie, never having done any rally before. And the whole idea is it's going to take you from no experience through to being ready to get in the car. So we can see my car is parked up right here, and we're going to have a day getting used to all the things we need to know to be able to get onto that start line.
Okay, so the navigation setup, I'm going to be doing navigator seat and driving seat through this process. It's not all going to be driving, and that's because it's so important to be able to do both parts, to be able to do either part well. I'm already having a few moments because all of the rallying that I've done, and obviously I've done a good few roadbook rallies now, are in French, because that's the road book that's typically used for Dakar, which is what's kind of used across the rally industry in Europe and Africa. And also, it's normally in kilometres. Now, here for the UK Rally Series, it's in miles, and it's in English. And you think, oh, it's in English, that's going to be easy, but none of them are actually words, they're all abbreviations. So things like HP, which is going off piece, which is what I'm used to, is going to be a different word or abbreviation in English. Anyway, none of it is a problem because I will adapt, I'll learn, and I'll get used to it. And it also is really important to mention that, of course, someone coming into this bowler experience as a newbie isn't going to necessarily have done the other desert stuff and rally stuff that I've done, which means I'm getting all the training through everything. And I basically just said to the guys, talk to me like I've never done a rally before, because then there won't be any gaps. So the knowledge is filling up, and yeah. It's a rally car.
Have to navigate, catch, so leave.
Oh, Max. What? There's 2 sets of wipers.
No, what is that? What they put us?
There are 2 sets of wipers. One for the driver and one for the navigator, but they both do the whole between. It is mind-blowing how much thought, engineering, technology has gone into one of these bowlers. I've obviously seen the base model Defender 110, check out my other video for that, but yeah, first experience in an actual bowler rally car. Rabbit in the headlights, anyone? It's amazing, but I say rabbit in the headlights. It's not at all, because the whole point of the bowler customer experience is that you can come into this as a complete newbie, and the training program takes you through every single step. You don't even get into the driver's seat until you're ready and you're trained, and you have all of the relevant information. So right now we've been going through the navigation stuff. Being able to navigate and be the co-pilot is as important as being able to drive the car as well. So I joke that I'm a rabbit in a headlight, but I'm in a rabbit in a headlight being looked after incredibly well by this bowler customer program. Oh, it's cold. It's my breath. Look at this. Okay. Ready for the next step?
Getting to the start line of a rally requires quite a lot of knowledge about the politics, the policies, and the hoops you've got to jump through with time cards, mapping. And the UK rally system does do a slightly different approach to things to what I'm used to. So here we're going through what you kind of expect on the information and how that links to the start line.
That's quite straightforward, and the fact that they've put that there so that you've always got the information. There's a really detailed step-by-step guide, because basically Land Rover have developed this car for years to make it do all of the clever stuff, to keep you safe, get through crazy terrain, be good on the road, be good off-road, all those sort of electronics and engineering. Bowler, the lunatics, have taken that and turned it into a rally car, which means a lot of all of that electronics needs to be turned off to turn it into a weapon of a rally car. But if you think about a rally, you get road liaisons, you get the off-road liaisons or the off-road special tests, but you could potentially, which hopefully won't, end up in a ditch on the side and actually being able to switch it back into doing all the clever stuff and all the differentials and wheels and traction and everything. Could be the difference between you getting out of the ditch and carrying on with the race or not. So being able to switch it between road mode, bowler mode for the rally or for a hopeful situation we won't find is a big step. And it is quite complicated. I'll show you the process. It's simple, but it's a process, yeah.
I know I'm normally into motorbikes, but is that not an absolutely sexy beast? Grrr, what a big boy.
I'm hoping it's not going to be needed, but changing a tyre is going to be pretty important, because if I'm out on stage and we get a flat, that bad boy in the back is going to need to go on. So next, I've got a tool, and we are going to be practicing changing a rally tyre. And if you've seen my channel, you'll realise I really love changing tyres. Let's find out if I enjoy it on a 4x4.
First up, look at the size of this jack. I cannot believe I'm using an electric tool as well. I can get used to this. The weight of this tyre and wheel is colossal. I'm pretty sure it's about the same weight as my whole motorcycle. Pretty cool experience though, being able to have the confidence to know that should I need to out on a rally stage, I can get that wheel off and on pretty effortlessly with what's equipped in the car. Great training.
We've got a rally car off the side of the track. Don't worry, this is a training scenario because it's quite possible in a rally environment that there is going to be some kind of accident, collision. So it wouldn't be right for Bowler to put us through a training program for rallying if we didn't have training on how to behave, act, what to do in these scenarios. So that's next on the agenda today.
Okay, so at this point in time, my brain went into panic mode because I thought there was actually an accident going on, even though we were all stood there being told we were doing an accident scenario. I love the energy that Bowler put into making a mock emergency situation feel real, because just something about those flashy lights and sirens got my heart racing. And it's probably worth mentioning that that Defender could 100% have driven out of there on its own, but this was just a scenario. So we pretended to pull it out like it needed it.
Okay, racing suit is on. I want to say all the gear, no idea, but technically I've just been being trained for ages, so I should have an idea.
I've got all the gear on. If I'm shouting, I'm really sorry. It's because I've got ear defenders in my helmet. It's all the safety stuff. There's loads of generator noise and stuff, but hopefully you can hear me. Balaclava is, of course, all fire retardant and everything like that. Now, I'm not going to be getting straight into this seat. I also can't move. I've got all the safety straps on my helmet. Stop me hurting my neck if we have an accident. It's all very new to me right now. I'm going to be getting into the navigator seat, and Chris, who I am teaming up with, is going to be getting into the driver's seat. Now, Bowler have teamed me up with someone who's incredibly experienced so that I can be a sponge and learn from his experience in doing this over many races, events and years. And what we're going to be first doing is getting to grips with reading the terrain. Now, I'm a motorcycle rider, so I'm pretty used to reading the terrain, but I normally only have 2 wheels. Suddenly I have 4 wheels and 2.3 tons of mass. So I'm going to get myself in the navigator seat. Chris is going to go up front and we're going to get the engine running. Ah! We've got this.
But we are in the cockpit. We're doing our first lap for me as navigator so I can see the lines. Right now we have the starting gate open here, and that is counting us for when we're going to be off the line. Got another car coming back in on the track. Wow, look at the dust. How are you feeling?
Good. All good. Yeah. Looking good to it. 20 laps, here we come.
20 laps. Yeah.
We shall see.
You're sceptical about 20 laps.
So basically we're allowed to do 20 laps because of the training day. It's down to time, and I'm a pretty determined person, so I said we're going to do 20 laps. What you cannot tell by this experience right now in the car is how mental it is being in a rally car for the first time. There's so many things they don't warn you about, like the fact that you are strapped in with a 5-point harness. Your head is strapped to your back of your shoulders to stop you getting whipped up, which basically makes you feel like a 2-year-old strapped in, and then you're in a massive lump of metal that is pulling it through the countryside, and you're not in control because obviously you're in the passenger seat. It was incredible buzz of adrenaline as we went round, and my goodness, Chris seriously knows how to drive, so I can tell why Bowler have put me with him so that I can get the best knowledge possible. That was insane.
Okay, I think I spent the first 5 minutes of that trying to work out why I was like strapped in a chair with my head strapped down, and then I started to settle down. And Chris started driving, and I realised it was really fast in a rally car. I was strapped into a seat, and there was just so much emotion and stuff going on. Then I started settling into it. The first couple of laps, Chris was telling me what he was seeing, reading the train and reading it out loud, and sort of telling me the sort of things that a navigator would be saying to a driver. I then started to absorb, pick that up, and then lap 3, I started to talk and start telling Chris what I was seeing in the train and reading it out. Because the whole idea is that before I can get in the driver's seat in a near 2.5 ton vehicle, we've got to be sure that I'm reading the train correctly and seeing what's coming and knowing how to adapt, etc. So we just had a bit of a debrief. He's happy, I'm happy. It's time to swap seats, and I'm going to be getting into the driver's seat.
I will spare you the entertainment of me trying to climb into the roll cage, but that was pretty entertaining. My heart was absolutely racing. It is a big vehicle to be out on, but I'm buzzing for how enjoyable it was. I had Chris coaching me through, and yep, that is me getting all 4 wheels of a Bowler Defender rally car off the ground. Don't tell Dave Marsh and Bowler.
Officially driven a rally car. I had to get straight out and put my coat on because it is a very cold day here in Wales. I've just managed to do, I think, 3 laps of the little practice loop driving, and it's all about really thinking about where you're putting the car, where you're braking, and picking the right line. Feedback from Chris was really positive that my lines were perfect, so now it's a case of just building confidence, building a little bit more speed, but there's no speed coming fast because it can go wrong so quickly in a car that big. That's it for day 1 here at Walters. Tomorrow we'll be back and we'll be doing some more mileage. So I'm going to get myself a warm cup of tea, and I'm just going to try and process what has just happened. It is the calm before the mayhem right now in the paddock. So my beautiful beast is there. The Bowler Land Rover crew are all starting to arrive and rock up. The manpower of putting together this challenge is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, right now I've got 10 bowlers around me. Some of the later rounds in this championship, there's going to be considerably more than that. There's full support. You get all the service from Bowler to effectively run and maintain and look after your rally car. All the paddocks, there's an amazing food tent, so that's where I'm heading next because breakfast is currently smelling pretty incredible, but all of that comes as part of this Defender experience challenge round. I mean, wow, breakfast.
Day 2 at Walters Arena, and it is pretty chilly. I think it's about 2 degrees right now, but the guys are hard at work prepping the cars, my car, the fleet of bowlers that are here behind us, and that is all part of what you're getting with the Bowler Defender Challenge. Today is a practice day, getting you into the feeling and the vibe of race day. So we're actually going to be doing timed laps. There's going to be the traffic lights, the start off, the out of the gate, the navigation, all that kind of stuff. And of course we'll be in the magnificent bowlers as well. Now first up this morning, I'm actually going to do a little bit of homework before we get into the riders briefing, getting my head around a bit more of the terminology of navigating, and I'm also going to practice taking the wheel on and off so that I'm a bit more ready, feeling a bit more confident to go into the day. But I think it's going to be a chilly, very exciting day here at Walters.
Okay, we got to meet Chris Cummings. So he won the Defender Rally Championship last year, which means I'm in very good hands. We are teaming up drivers, navigators. Right now, we are doing some swapping up. Now, obviously, we've done a fair amount of training on navigating. I've done rallies, so I know how to read roadbooks and stuff. But in a car, it's pretty different. You get things like pace notes. That is a pace note. Who fancies reading that whilst riding along in a car? But I'm not necessarily going to need to be able to read this, but I need to know what it means and what it translates to. So we've also got what some of those translates to. Because if you think about you're driving along in a 2.3 ton vehicle and there's a corner coming up and your navigator is helping you read the road, obviously I can see what's in front of me. No, you can go faster by having more of a heads up of what's coming as to whether that corner is a fast right or a right angle right. Oh, you coming into... That's the competitor. It's a really good energy and rivalry. It doesn't feel like we're all competitors. We're all here with a united enjoyment of motorsports, outdoors, mud adventures, bowlers, big engines, massive tyres. But we're not going to tell them what our next sort of thing is. We are hopefully going to steal our bowler just a little bit, and I'm going to practice taking the wheel on and off. Because when we get a puncture, because apparently it's a when and not an if, being able to change it quickly is really important. So, hot off the press, we have just received our road book for today's practice lap, which is 7.78 miles around Walters Arena. We're going to get 20 laps of that today, and then obviously tomorrow, 8 laps.
Yes.
I think?
Yeah, 8 laps tomorrow.
But just to give you a bit of perspective of the energy that Bowler put into this, this is our road book in a beautiful folder. This is gorgeous, actually. This is very much what you'd expect to see if you're on a motorcycle rally as well. You've got your mileage, the number of waypoints, the fuel range that you need, 8 miles. Let's go with a coal tank.
Yeah.
You can even see the altitude graph on there. We got warnings because it might be dangerous. You want to see a warning sign. We've got our lexicon. So that is all the different symbols that you are likely to see into your road book. I'm hoping we're going to see some palm trees today. Unlikely, seeing as it's like 2 degrees at the moment, and we're expecting snow tomorrow. Camels? No, it's just sheep. We're in Wales.
Yeah.
Definitely won't see dunes. But this is a sort of a, not a generic, but I guess it is a pretty generic lexicon that you use across rally, which is one of the advantages of doing an event that's doing it properly, because you're going to be learning stuff that will transfer to any other event, which is super helpful. And then you get your road book, if I can turn the page. Oh, you've got all your start controls. Bowler want you to do well and go into the next rounds understanding what's going on. So refreshing you on all these symbols helps you out. And then we've got your road book. Now, if you go on my YouTube channel, there is a video on how to read a road book that you can read. Thank you. Thanks for marshalling and looking after us. So yeah, check out that video. So I am like live in the paddock right now, so it's a little bit interrupted. We got some warning signs at the start.
Yes. Lots of cautions.
What's the cautions? Wow. Okay. I'm going to sign out and I'm going to focus on this. More updates later. Exciting lap down. The guys are immediately jumping on the car, making sure everything's looking all right. Next, it's going to be getting out and doing our first timed lap. car felt incredible. There is a massive mix of terrain out there. Classic Walters Arena. Kind of describe this place as snotty, wet, Welsh, slatey mayhem, which basically needs a whole load of fun. But there's some good blind corners. There's some really tight downhill hairpins. There's blind crests. There's big sweeping corners, tight corners, zigzaggy corners. All kinds of mixed stuff going on that track. It's going to be an exciting one once you start adding a bit of speed and pace too. I'm in the driver's seat! Whoop, whoop. So I've just done my first lap around the full 7.88 something mile loop at Walters, and that was incredible. It was a lot of focus on the line where you're putting the wheels, the car, the power through the corners, the braking, etc. This guy's absolutely amazing. I'm in such safe hands, like talking me through everything, and that was like legal crack.
She's doing very, very well.
So, got a good teacher.
Yeah.
Woo! So we're now in the queue to go out and do another lap. And I'm a bit of a like, we got to do as much practice as possible, because the most time I spend in this seat, check out all the harness and everything. Got straps on my neck, can't like move. It's amazing. But the more time I sit here, the more normalised sitting here will be. And hopefully the more confident and comfortable and controlled I'll be with this bad boy.
We've cleared it. Steep build on the speed.
Yeah. That was unbelievably incredible. This car is mind-blowing. His skill, this is legal crack. Whatever you've got, please.
No problem. Incredibly obliterated people there. He looked at her earlier before they did 70 boy.
It will taste the same.
You do it first.
Amazing.
9 laps into the practice and it's properly starting to make sense. Picking the lines, I've got my really experienced navigator helping me, reading the terrain, working out what to do with the mass of the car, and it's really feeling good. Now, every time I come into the pits, there is a team of engineers, mechanics, and super friendly, happy faces to meet me, and I basically can hand over my bowler, who I've named Big Boy, just because he's an absolute beast. Anyway, I hand him over to them, and the service that they give is absolutely incredible. They're checking things like the tyres, making sure there's no damage, wheel bearings, cleaning off my numbers, my window screen, checking for rattles, leaks, all that kind of stuff, full service, so that every time I'm on that start line, we have confidence that the car is as ready to go as I am, because I'm then also getting teas and coffees and refreshments all there in the paddock. Everything's basically thought of, and that's just part of the bowler experience. So I'm gonna get myself a cup of coffee and a bite to eat. They're gonna take the car off me, and then I'll get some more laps in.